Hello, this is the TradeSite U.S. Stocks and Futures Market Preview and Domestic Economic Data for the first full week of the second quarter of 2017, starting April 3rd, ending April 7th. Hope you had a good trading week. Let's look at the ES front month futures contract. This is the daily chart of the futures in broad market form. Yeah, almost a 12, almost a 13 sell signal, but you got to be above the 8th candle. Another big day up, and you'd be a 13 sell signal on the futures. We'll talk about the cash index, which is straight from this in a little bit. Didn't do much on Friday as expected. Pretty much the thing to focus on here is what does the quarter look like? It's not that big a deal. I mean, people think, oh, the market keeps rallying. It doesn't. If you look at where we were January 1st, you look at where we are today, it's not even 100 points up on the ES, on the S&P. It's not a big move for the broad market at all. Let's take a look at the NDX as the NASDAQ 100. This was a bigger move for the first quarter from 4,900 to 5,400. We have a 13 sell signal in place just in time to end the first quarter. You should all know what that means if you've been a customer of ours, gone through our program. But they don't tend to let the market fall apart in the last week if it's been up all quarter because all the bonuses get paid based on how much the market moved. So we'll see what happens after this. So we had the S&P down 5, the NASDAQ down 3 on Friday. It was flat most of the day. Little dip late in the day, just like I said would happen, as people kind of try to sell off ahead of what could be coming next week now that the money's free to move around. Stocks index, the semiconductors, down less than a point, which is fairly flat on the biotechs. It's a 1,000-point index. But it's even flatter on the, on the semiconductors, but it's even flatter on the biotechs, down less than a point on a 3,000-point index. In other words, the market did absolutely nothing on Friday. VIX up 83 cents to 12.37. Not sure why the VIX goes. No rising volatility in a completely flat market. Trend, another high reading at 1.57, keeps the 10-day moving average at 1.25. NASDAQ volume 1.7 billion. There's some end of quarter statement printing, perhaps. That was the best volume of the week, which is sad by a lot, actually. 11 days at 1.5. It was not an exciting week from the volume perspective. Now, advanced decline ratio on the NASDAQ plus 253. Advanced decline ratio on the New York plus 573. Google loses $1.68 on the day, which is not a big deal for an $800 stock. Apple down 27 cents, same story. This is going to be an interesting one to watch. This is a stock that went from 116 to 143 in the quarter. Obviously held up for the quarter here at the end of the quarter for the prints. So we'll see what happens after that. Amazon up 10. That's the only one that I saw that really moved today. It took off early and kept going. Netflix down 25 cents. Remember the 13 sell signal here on Netflix? And we're tucked right up against the pink the risk line from that. Again, another one that says market could roll over here. Tesla up 38 cents, but nowhere near, well, not quite at the highs from a couple months back. TLT gained 35 cents. Oh, look at that. Goldman Sachs up $1.50. All right. I'm sorry, down $1.50. Still short that one. All right, let's take a look at the intraday action. Take a look here. So we've got, now this is key. Monday, you can see we start at the far left side of the chart as the end of Friday, the prior week. Monday, we gapped down, rallied, didn't quite fill the gap. Tuesday, we're talking about flat openings. Most of the time, we don't get so many flat openings. Flat opening, curled up, okay, and then filled the gap from Monday, and then pushed a little bit higher. That was probably the widest range day of the week. Maybe Monday was. Monday or Tuesday, most of the action in there. Wednesday, we got the flat opening and a flat day for the most part. That was disappointing. I thought maybe we'd get one more day of action. Thursday, flat opening, tried to head up. Couldn't really get anywhere. Stalled out early, and that was it. Friday, as dead flat as it comes. It's just how it played out, and that's kind of expected for the end of the quarter. Look at that. Thursday and Friday. We talk about this all the time with people. Thursday and Friday at the end of the quarter, or whatever, it doesn't have to be Thursday and Friday, but the last 2 days of the quarter are generally flat. When the last day of the quarter is a Friday, it's almost always flat. There's no reason for the market to move. All right, let's take a look at the economic data now. Yahoo has changed up their economic calendar on us, so it's not quite the same as it used to be, so I'm going to have to shuffle this around a bit to get used to it. So Monday, we've got auto and truck sales in the afternoon. We got ISM index at 10 a.m. and construction spending at 10 a.m., so half an hour into the market. On Tuesday, we've got factory orders and trade balance. So trade balance is an hour before the bell. Factory orders 30 minutes in. On Wednesday, we've got the MBA mortgage index. I guess I got to lift this a little bit. And 7 a.m., we got the ADP employment change at 8:15. We've got ISM services at 10, 30 minutes into the market. We've got crude oil inventories at 10:30. That's the weekly number an hour in. And then the minutes from the last Fed meeting come out at 2 p.m. If anything interesting comes out there, you're going to want to watch for a reaction on Wednesday at 2. Thursday, we've got Challenger job cuts at 7:30, not a big deal. The weekly initial and continuing jobless claims at 8:30, an hour before the bell. And the natty gas inventory is at 10:30. Next up for Friday, we've got non-farm payrolls and the unemployment rate an hour before the bell. That's probably the biggest number besides the trade balance for the week. Got wholesale inventories 30 minutes into the market. Consumer credit at 3 p.m. Eastern time. So, I mean, the big stuff's the unemployment rate and with the non-farm payroll data on Friday and the trade balance. But we'll see what else we get. Charts, as usual, brought to you by eSignal. If you've not yet taken a trial of our services, feel free to do so. We will help you out for a couple weeks. Have a great trading week.